So this is part 3, and I'm trying here to show that we need to improve the previous code that we explained in part 2. To satisfy one or two requirements in the exam question. The requirements say that we have to only allow 5 contexts at a time, and not only that, we also should not allow more than 100 contexts in total. So these two, this portion of the code that we added here, on top of the previous code that we explained, previously we talked about entering the name and the phone and then adding them to the array itself. And then if we add this for loop specifically to allow that we enter the name and the phone for 5 times. Every time you enter the phone and the name, we add it to the array. So, and then we loop again until we do that for 5 times. So if we do that for 5 times, it means that we satisfy this requirement. If it is too hard or it appears too difficult, ignore it. We focus only on the easiest part. So just do this portion, okay? And make heavy comments like I'm doing, so that you can guarantee between 2 to 4 marks based on the amount of comments that you put in. This is marks that is easy to get. You don't lose it, okay? If this is difficult, and I have to agree that you might not come to this code easily, so this is just for explaining to you. And if you find it difficult, then stick to this part. This is the basic part that you should focus on. Any complicated requirement, forget about it. Focus on how do you get much marks as much as you could in a smallest time possible. So if we don't want to allow more than 100 marks, 100 contexts in total, it means that we need to compare the current size in an if statement to the maximum context. Maximum context is a variable that carry 100. So if the current size is bigger than or equal maximum context, we should not continue running accepting the name and the phone. We should break. This break will break this loop, and it will not continue running this loop anymore, okay? So it means that anytime in the middle of accepting the 5 contexts, if we reach it, if the current size reaches 100, we stop. We don't accept any more names or phones, okay? So that is this portion satisfy this requirement, and this loop satisfy that requirement, okay? So I hope I made it clear. Now let us move to the next. So as part of, I understand that this might be slightly difficult. So this is a template for the sorting algorithm. The sorting is required in this exam question. He asks you to sort actually the context if the contents of the contact list is more than 2. I understand that this is a 2D array, so it might seem that it is a bit complicated, but in fact, actually, it is not much different from a single array. So this is a typical algorithm that we use for sorting. We should always memorize it by heart. So even if you memorize that by heart, you just don't need to mention, memorize it by heart. And if you don't know even how to modify it to work for your exam question, just put it as it is, but definitely don't put student marks like that, because these student marks does not belong to the exam question, definitely, right? So we put it, and definitely we will get marks for that. So, but we will look what is the simple modification that we are able to do, and so that we can get marks. And I will tell you, if it is difficult, stick to what? Okay, so at the moment, what we are doing here, as part of the exam question, especially when we are adding new contexts. So once you add the 5 contexts, we will check this if statement, which say check if the current size is bigger than or equal to. So after new contexts have been added, okay, which is mean that under the choice equal 1, we need to put that code, okay? So we sort the array. This is a sorting algorithm by contact name. Okay, just so you know that the first thing, I mean, this is a 2D array. And let me just explain this. Imagine that we have two. The first column carries a name. So this is a 2D array. This is row 0, row 1, and this is the column carrying the phone. This is column 0, column 1. So here, if you will notice, so we put the names here. Okay, imagine this is a phone number and this is the names. Okay, so we will sort this by the name. Okay, so we have to actually change. I mean, we need to change some variables here. Okay, this remain the same like the template exactly. The last, which means that it is the size of the array, but -1 because this is in Python. I will not focus too much on this. So even if you put it current size equal last equal current size, it is still, they will still ignore minimal or minimum or small logic errors. They will ignore that. Okay, so all this is exactly the same. Okay, you don't change anything except that instead of putting the student marks in the template, you are going to actually do this comparison by context with counter, and he is focusing on the column 0. So the column 0 just because it carries a name. Okay, what if you do a mistake here? Yes, totally fine. Just focus on changing the student marks in the template that you have in the previous slide with the new array name here, which is the context. Okay, even if you do mistakes here, so definitely it's better than not putting the whole thing. Okay, so little mistakes, it's okay. You are putting the correct algorithm for sorting, and that is in itself something really beneficial. You will get a lot of marks by doing so. So let me move again, because here this portion also was part of the template for the sorting algorithm. Then you should put it exactly as it is. Definitely here we change, we put our new array name, okay, which is the context, and we remove the student mark array as in the template. Okay, that's it for this video. And then the next video I will explain about the last two requirements, which is much easier actually. Okay,